Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and if you're new to the channel, I am Oldhead Gaming. If you want to stay up to date on the latest in horror information, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell for all videos, just like what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about Killer Klowns. And we've been talking about Killer Klowns a lot, as IllFonic and, of course, Teravision have been dropping a ton of information. And this article literally just dropped from Gamereactor about 10 minutes ago when I started making this video, and it has some huge information of what's coming up. And first thing we're going to talk about is the release window. The release window will be the first 6 months of 2024, which means they aren't as nearly as far behind as I thought. I had originally projected that they were going to probably drop around Halloween of 2024, but then when we saw the alpha footage, I did kind of move it up and think maybe March, April would probably be a much more likely option. The interview is with CCO Luis Daniel Zambrano of Teravision, and I'm going to show you what he says here about the release window.
And just finally then, Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the video game, whenabouts can we expect to see a release date, and on what platforms can we expect to see it on?
All right, so the game is going to come out in the first 6 months of 2024. We're going to get more specific when we reach the date, and it's going to come out in PC and PS5 and Xbox Series.
Perfect, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, of course.
Now, the thing is, he also included some new information that is definitely going to probably make some people upset, and that's this. It looks like Killer Klowns has indeed dropped the previous gen, and that makes a lot of sense if you're trying to catch up. It's a lot easier to develop a game for Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series X without including PS4 and Xbox One as part of the group. And we have been talking about how PS4 and Xbox One have been getting continually phased out of things. They did get a release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but they did not get crossplay at all. And when it comes to Killer Klowns from Outer Space, they're getting skipped completely. Now, we also did get some information on game mechanics, and here's what Zambrano had to say about that.
And the idea is that clowns hunt these humans, and humans are trying to survive and escape the match before the clown apocalypse happens, which is a huge explosion at the end of the map. Yeah, so, I mean, this movie is a great combination of horror and comedy, and we brought all that into the experience in the game. So it's a very light-hearted horror multiplayer game. I mean, there's blood, you know, and there are bones, but still clowns can become pizza boxes and hunt their victims, or they can pull up balloon dogs to track other humans, and they do a lot of wacky, silly things, right? Also, an important difference with other asymmetrical multiplayer games is that the killer can get hurt, and actually the survivors can kill the clowns, which is going to make everything more hectic and fun for everybody. So what humans do is just search the grounds for weapons like a bat or a skillet, you know, and they use it to beat on clowns, right? But if you have a knife, for example, you can escape from cotton candy cocoons, or maybe you can pop a clown nose, and that's how they die. Also, it's different to other asymmetrical games. When you die, you get to spectate other players that are still alive, but you get to do other stuff, because we have mini games in which you play while watching others, and with those mini games, you unlock boosters and help for the people you're spectating, or maybe get that rare resurrection card that pulls you back into the game.
The game is going to have its own mini-game if you die as a human, where you have a potential to win a resurrection card and come back in as an NPC bot, which is really cool. You basically take over one of the bots in the game and you come back to the game. You also can help your teammates do stuff while you're dead and spectating the match, which is really interesting. It kind of feels like what happens if, say, you get thrown out or get murdered in Among Us. You can still help your teammates try to get, objectives done while still being a ghost. We also learned that one of the biggest concerns was this.
Yeah, our intentions is to get players as fast as possible into the matches. So what we're going to do is we're going to have bots, right? And in that sense, people who want to play by themselves can hunt a bunch of human bots, or they don't need to wait to fill up a full lobby with 10 players and just go into the match, and then we just backfill with real players when we find them, because we don't want players to be waiting in lobbies, right?
they were worried about load-in times for 10 people matches. So you don't have to go online. You could play an entire match with just strictly bots. You could load in with a group of friends with a couple of bots, and then they get backfilled with other human beings, or you can just load in with a full group of 10 people. So they're gonna give you options to keep playing the game without having to worry about ridiculously long queue times. And here's everything we learned from, of course, Gamereactor's interview with CCO Luis Daniel Zambrano. And I am happy to say I like what I hear. I really do. And I feel bad for the people on PS4 and Xbox One who are once again going to find out they're not getting a game. But at some point, previous gen just needs to get cut off as we're heading into year 4 of the developmental cycle in November. And we've gotten to the point now where I feel like this is going to be the norm and not the exception. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.